Welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're tuning in. Today, our goal is simple, but it's literally a game changer. We are going to teach total beginners how to completely transform their kitchen using one of the most versatile, protein-packed ingredients out there, turkey. Whether you are stepping up to the stove for the very first time or you're just looking to build some foundational culinary confidence, this Explainer is built step by step just for you. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. Because if you think turkey is just meant to be a giant roasted bird sitting in the middle of a holiday table once a year, well, you are in for a wonderful surprise. Today, we're breaking down 6 completely distinct recipes drawn directly from our source material. By exploring these different flavor profiles and cooking methods, you're not just reading recipes, you're going to master basic cooking techniques that will serve you for an absolute lifetime. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start off with the versatile turkey. Then move into soups and hearty stews. After that, we'll cover quick stovetop macaroni chili, sweet and savory pairings, and finally, time to get cooking.
Section 1. The versatile turkey.
Now, before you even think about turning on a burner, let's talk about a quick beginner safety tip. Whenever you handle raw turkey, always wash your hands and your tools immediately. You really want to prevent cross-contamination. Okay, once you're safe, it's time to get organized. Setting out these common pantry staples before you start is a pro-kitchen habit called mise en place, basically everything in its place. You're going to need cooking fats like unsalted butter and vegetable oil, some all-purpose flour for thickening, stock, and your herbs. And notice the mix of fresh and dried here. Dried herbs like thyme and oregano have these deep, concentrated flavors that are absolutely perfect for long cooking times. On the flip side, fresh herbs like parsley add a bright, clean finish right at the very end.
Moving on to Section 2, Soups and Hearty Stews.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we learn the absolute magic of repurposing. Instead of just throwing away those leftover turkey bones, let's look at this timeline to extract every single ounce of flavor for our foundational turkey soup. Creating a homemade stock from a turkey carcass is just incredibly rewarding. First up, you saute your vegetables for 7 to 10 minutes. Then you'll cook the flour for about 2 minutes to create a thickening base. Finally, you add in your liquids, the carcass itself, and your herbs, and let the whole shebang simmer for an hour and a half. This long, slow process is what extracts the rich collagen and all those amazing flavors from the bones right into the broth.
But you might be wondering, how do you actually know when to move from step 1 to step 2? As a beginner, visual cues are your absolute best friend. For this soup, you're going to cook your chopped carrots, celery, and onion in butter and oil until they get nice and golden, making sure to stir them constantly. That golden color is absolutely crucial. It means the natural sugars in the vegetables are caramelizing, which builds the foundational flavor of your entire soup way before you ever add the flour or the liquid.
Once your liquid is in the pot, our recipe tells us to bring it to a boil and then simmer. Now, this is a super important cooking term. Simmering means cooking liquid over a gentle heat, keeping it just below the boiling point. You should see tiny little bubbles gently breaking the surface, definitely not a violent rolling boil. We use this gentle simmer for the hour-and-a-half carcass stock, but we also use it for our really quick 20-minute turkey tomato soup. That's where you gently warm fresh tomatoes, thyme, and completely transform the dish by swapping in 2 cups of pre-cooked, shredded leftover turkey right at the end. It's so incredibly easy.
Now, if you want something a bit thicker than soup, we've got our turkey stew island style. You'll need a basic, deep skillet for this one. You're going to combine skinless turkey parts with wonderful ingredients like tomatoes, potatoes, peas, mushrooms, and rich spices like paprika. You cook this covered over a gentle heat for 40 minutes, but again, visual and textural cues are key here. The main indicator that this stew is fully cooked through and safe to eat is when the turkey meat becomes very tender when pierced with a fork.
Section 3. Quick stovetop macaroni chili.
Soups and stews are obviously great for slow, gentle cooking, but if you want bold, zesty flavor and you want it fast, fresh ground turkey is completely perfect. When you're working with it, our next beginner visual cue is essential. You've got to crumble the ground turkey right in your pot and cook it with your chopped onions and green peppers until the meat is entirely browned. Browning not only ensures the raw meat is safely cooked through, but it also develops a deep, really savory flavor. And here's a pro tip. Once it's browned, our recipe specifically notes to drain the juices before adding your chicken broth. That keeps the chili from becoming too greasy.
For this chili recipe, the primary tool you're going to need is a 4-quart Dutch oven. That's basically a heavy, deep pot that is just perfect for holding heat on the stove. Now let's look at our flavor builders. We have canned tomato sauce and a tablespoon of vinegar. You might be thinking, vinegar? Really? But in culinary terms, the acidity from the vinegar and the tomatoes perfectly cuts through and balances the rich, heavy fat of the turkey and that hearty elbow macaroni. It brightens the whole dish up, perfectly complementing the chili powder and garlic salt.
Section 4. Sweet and savory pairings.
And this brilliantly illustrates how we build flavor profiles. Acidity balances fat, sure, but sweet fruit ingredients provide this incredible, totally unique contrast to savory roasted turkey. We have two phenomenal examples of this sweet and savory balance. On one side, we have turkey with fruit stuffing, which relies on deep, warm, earthy spices. Cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, and cloves. Then, on the other side, we have turkey tropical. This one takes a completely different path, using vibrant, sugary brightness from orange juice, golden rum, and halved bananas. They both use fruit and sugar, but they create vastly different experiences on your palate.
Let's look a little closer at the turkey with fruit stuffing. You're taking 2 turkey breast fillets and carefully using your knife to cut 3 parallel 1-inch deep slits lengthwise right into the meat. Proper knife handling is absolutely key here, so keep those fingers tucked back. By slitting the meat, you're creating these little pockets to pack in a simmered mixture of sweet, dried apricots, pitted dates, and walnuts. As it roasts in the oven, the intense sweetness of the dates and apricots literally seeps into the meat, perfectly balancing that savory roasted turkey flavor.
Now, for the bright and vibrant turkey tropical, you'll actually bake coated turkey parts in the oven first. While they bake, you get to prep this incredibly luscious sweet sauce right on the stovetop. Step 1, you melt unsalted butter and brown sugar in a skillet. Step 2, whisk together your orange juice, rum, and a little cornstarch, which acts as a thickener, and slowly add that to the sugar. Step 3, simmer it for 3 minutes until it thickens up nicely. Finally, you just add your bananas until they're heated through and pour this phenomenal tropical sauce right over the baked savory turkey.
Section 5. Time to get cooking.
Let's move to and see how this builds all our tools, safety rules, and flavor profiles into a really solid foundation. This summary brilliantly maps out the wide spectrum of cooking methods we've just learned about. On the top row, the fruit-stuffed breasts require an oven roast at a low 325 degrees for 2 whole hours, just to ensure that thick meat cooks evenly. Compare that to the tropiale, which bakes at a much higher 400 degrees for just 40 minutes. Then look at our stovetop methods down below. The Hearty Island stew requires a slow 40-minute gentle heat, whereas the macaroni chili only needs a quick 10-minute simmer once your pasta and cooked ground meat are actually combined.
But honestly, no matter which method you choose, I want you to remember this golden rule pulled straight from our island stew recipe: tender when pierced with a fork. That is exactly how you judge when slow-cooked poultry or even starchy vegetables like potatoes are perfectly done. And remember, recipes like the stew and the chili make fantastic leftovers. Just let them cool slightly, put them in airtight containers, and store them safely in the refrigerator. You'll get to enjoy those incredibly developed flavors all over again the next day.
So we've covered the tools, the techniques, the visual cues, and the absolutely incredible versatility of this protein. From an earthy fruit-stuffed roast to a zesty, quick macaroni chili, you have all the knowledge you need to get started. The only question left is, which flavor profile will you master in your kitchen tonight? Are you going to stick to the comforting classics or push your boundaries with something totally tropical? Grab your ingredients, set up your workspace, and go transform your kitchen. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you next time.